Last month, Grace and I visited Kaohsiung, the largest city in southern Taiwan. We woke up early and hurtled down to the city from Taipei at 186 miles per hour using the country's high-speed rail that is essentially identical to Japan's Shinkansen bullet train. In around 2 hours, we'd travelled from the tip of Taiwan down to the island's southern coastal city. We jumped on Kaohsiung's tram line, a circular line around the entire city, to reach our hotel, the Harbour 10. The Harbour 10 Hotel is located in the southwest of the city. It's near the art district and is only a 5-minute walk away from the nearest tram station. We paid around £90 for 2 nights and received an unprompted room upgrade to one with 2 double beds, which gets it bonus points from Grace and I. The room was clean and spacious, with its quirk being a glass window looking into the bathroom. Service from the staff was excellent and the Starbucks in the lobby was a nice touch. Oh, quick shout out to Holafly, the eSIM we used on this trip. There's many options out there, but we gave them a try and it worked exactly as you'd expect with no issues. You can choose how many days you need the eSIM for and load it into your phone before you leave. Then just switch it on when you land. Feel free to check them out. There's a link in the description that automatically applies our code SWEETKETCHUP for 5% off your order. Before we set about exploring Kaohsiung, we stopped at the Bog Tea Shop to refuel, that's just opposite the Holy Rosary Cathedral, the oldest Roman Catholic church in Taiwan. The cafe looks as beautifully traditional on the inside as the outside. The whole vibe is incredibly relaxed. The food is great too. Grace and I shared a sandwich and cinnamon bun that were both delicious. Also, shout out to the Doraemon glasses and magazines littered around the cafe that are extremely cute. We kicked things off with a pier-side walk, passing a couple buildings that have wonderfully unique designs, the Kaohsiung Music Center and Kaohsiung Port Cruise Terminal. We also saw the city's largest building, the 85 Sky Tower, that was actually designed by the same architect as Taipei 101. Then we arrived at the Pier-2 Art Center, which quickly became my favorite place in Kaohsiung. The area is a huge hub of creativity, and we really enjoyed walking around, seeing its art, browsing its shops, and seeing what interactive exhibits were on offer. Much of the art sits in warehouses that were previously used for storing goods and cargo during the city's industrial era. We crossed the city's Great Harbour Bridge to visit the Port of Kaohsiung Basin Dock No. 3, a name which rolls right off the tongue. Anyway, there were several pretty cool shops there, including one that was decked out with Snoopy merchandise. The Great Harbour Bridge has a little trick up its sleeve. It rotates horizontally to allow boats to pass through. Grace, I, and tons of others stopped to watch it do its thing. We crossed back over the bridge and continued exploring the Pier-2 Art Center, which is absolutely enormous. When we went, a couple of the warehouses had pop-up stores for Miffy and Moomin, with both selling stacks of exclusive merchandise. The scale of some of the art pieces on show here really does make you marvel. My favourite piece of art was this giant mural. As you walk further down, you seamlessly transition from the Pier-2 Art Center to the Hamasen Railway Cultural Park, which was originally Kaohsiung Port Station, the city's first ever railway station. You can ride a miniature train here and see the station's old tracks that are now decorated with various creative art pieces. In the midst of Kaohsiung's unrelenting heat, I had to do a double take when I saw an ice cream shop housed in an old train cart. The shop is called Snow and does exceptional ice cream. They do all the usual flavours you'd expect, mixed with several I've never tried before, like black sesame, that was delicious. After our ice cream break, we started to hike up the Shoushan mountain, otherwise known as Monkey Mountain or Apes Hill, because of the many Formosan rock macaws you'll find up there. Admittedly, it was pretty strange seeing monkeys out in the wild, and I'm thankful none got too close. We soon reached the Shoushan Love Lookout that provides incredible views of Kaohsiung. We arrived just before sunset, so got to see the entire city bathing in a beautiful golden glow. I really recommend going up here. There's something pretty special about seeing Kaohsiung from above and looking down on its huge port, cultural parks, and towering skyscrapers. We hiked down and jumped on the Kaohsiung metro, which, during our stay, was basically deserted compared to Taipei. I got the impression most locals prefer to ride around on mopeds than take the train. We travelled to Formosa Boulevard Station to see the Dome of Light that is the world's largest public art piece made from individual pieces of coloured glass. The whole thing took 4 years to complete, and it's kind of incredible it sits in a metro station for people to admire on their commute. The art piece has 4 themes that are apparently based around the story of life. Each piece of glass is beautifully detailed. Our last stop for the day was dinner. We travelled down to Kaohsiung's Central Park station that has this water feature that is almost hypnotic with the way it trickles down the mini steps. We walked through the park and headed to the Dali shopping centre, where we chose to dine at a restaurant called Saboten. Saboten is a Japanese restaurant chain with over 400 branches across Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan. It specializes in deep-fried pork that I had in curry form. You get various side dishes with your meal that are refillable, like miso soup that I absolutely love. Afterwards, I had mochi ice cream and Grace had a red bean dessert. Both were delicious. The next morning, we got breakfast at the huge 7-Eleven that was right next to our hotel. Just like in Japan, convenience stores in Taiwan are next level and sell just about everything, with frequent pop-up merchandise like the Mario stuff you see here. The food is surprisingly good too. We both opted for chicken fantuans, or rice balls, that were tasty and incredibly cheap. We headed north on the tram towards the first stop on our second day agenda, Kaohsiung's Dragon and Tiger Pagodas. It took around half an hour to get there, which isn't bad considering they were on the other side of the city. The pagodas were built in 1976 and are beautifully decorated. You can't go inside, but you can venture across the unique zigzag bridge that connects them to land. Our second day in Kaohsiung was insanely hot. I'm someone who can usually withstand the heat quite well, but on this occasion I had to seek solace and air conditioning indoors. So, Grace and I decided to visit the Kaohsiung Museum of Fine Arts and see what was on offer. We started by hitting the cafe and enjoying some much needed refreshments. Then we ventured inside, exploring the diverse array of artwork, from more traditional paintings to tons of interesting physical pieces. My favourite piece was this Japanese-style dry garden, with miniature, battery-powered cars driving around it and carving out patterns. There was something strangely soothing about watching this. We were in the museum for a good couple of hours and really enjoyed ourselves. I'd highly recommend it as a place to enjoy some cool art and, of course, to escape the ferocious heat outside. We continued our museum kick by heading straight from the Museum of Fine Arts to the National Science and Technology Museum. The museum opened up in 1997 and is comprised of a north and south complex, the former of which contains the main attractions. There's 6 floors to explore, and on the day we went, there was basically nobody there, giving Grace and I the entire museum to ourselves. There's lots of interactive exhibits to have fun with, and everything is written in English as well as Mandarin, so don't worry about not being able to understand anything. My favourite part of the museum was an exhibition called The Industrial History of Taiwan that tells you about everything the country produces or contributes towards. I had no idea Taiwan made tennis rackets, for instance. I also learned more about the country's huge semiconductor industry and the many products that have been produced as part of it. We spent our last evening in Kaohsiung at the Jilin Street Night Market that's home to all of the delicious Taiwanese food you'd expect, like mooncakes, fried chicken, dumplings, and much more. The food was all delicious, and this was definitely a favourite for locals. You do need to be alert though, because the food stands are on the side of a main road overflowing with mopeds that have no issue driving past incredibly close to you. That concludes our 48 hours in Kaohsiung. Now, why not see how this city compares to the country's capital by watching our full travel guide of Taipei?